There's our master shot there. We're live. Oh, cool. All right, go for something.
All right, so we can play together?
Yeah, we'll play it together. So how about we just...
You definitely got to show me all that.
Dude, you crushed it over there.
Cool.
With, oh man. So we're looking right there, by the way.
This one here?
At the black one.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Michael here again on Wednesday, and I'm with Scott Spivey here. And if you can't tell, he's an awesome guitar player. And you are one of the like widely renowned as like one of the busiest, best guitar players in town. Like dude. So we were talking about Mike Vance, who was on here before.
Right. And
the reason I always kind of hit you up to sub, you know, is because Mike's like, dude, you got to get Spivey because he's like the best dude in town.
Oh man, I'll have to say thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I figured we would talk, you know, we play a little bit so people could hear you. We talk about your gear and your rig because everybody always wants to know what people gig with to get the sound when they're gigging. And then, you know, your other main thing is that you teach full-time. Mm-hmm. And since I teach full-time and you teach full-time, I thought we'd spend a couple minutes and, you know, try to help some people or something, a takeaway that you would give online students.
That sounds cool, man.
So why don't we start with just what you're doing right now, where people can find you, like, you know, just tell us about, you know, what you're doing around town.
Cool. All right. So after 13 years, I'm leaving the band that I've been in for 13 years. It's a cover band.
Yeah, it's a long road, dude.
Yeah, it's been awesome too. It's been, you know, we've just become best friends. You know, we all started out together, basically in, you know, in garages.
Yeah.
None of us were married. None of us had kids, and now here we are, 13 years later. Some of us been married twice.
Yeah.
We've all become best friends. It was hard. It was a little hard to leave, but I just felt like it was time, you know, like time to move on and do something else, and I don't know what that is. But in the meantime, you know, I do a lot of solo shows in and around town. So I do solo acoustic guitar. Maybe I should have brought that rig since I do more of that.
Nah, I wanted to hear you shred.
I do plenty of shredding on that.
I believe you.
But I do a lot of that, you know, singing and do solo stuff, and then a lot of fill-in and subs. So I've been having fun doing fill-ins and subs. So that's
gotcha.
My main focus right now is that.
And as far as, you know, style-wise, besides what we just played, what kind of stuff do you typically lean towards when you're gigging?
Dude, I'm a rock.
Especially when you're singing stuff.
Okay, so that's when I do my solo acoustic show. It's more just I sit there with a guitar, and you and I have probably both been playing for a long time, and I'm coming up on over 30 years of playing, you know, performing over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And once you've been playing for that amount of time, you just accumulate a huge bag full of songs. So
yeah.
I show up and I set up my microphone, and first thing I say is I introduce myself. I'm like, hey, I'm Scott. What do you guys want to hear? And then no matter what comes out, you know, last Sunday I was like, what do you guys want to hear? And someone jokingly said Lady Gaga, so I did, you know, Bad Romance and the Poker Face Jam, and
sure,
everybody liked it. But it's these days I just kind of play what people want to hear. You know, it's not really I don't have a preference when I get out there. I just want to play and have a good time.
So you're not a set list dude. You know, was the band you were in, were you a setlist style band?
Yeah, when it's the full band we are, because it was really, it was set up like a show. We had a full light show, you know, we had this screen with music videos and stuff, and, you know, we all used in-ears, and some stuff was triggered. We had, you know, we pre-recorded parts in the studio and had those layered over top, so it was definitely a set list, but we would also do 3-piece shows, or we'd show up and just take requests all night, because the same thing with those guys, they've been playing all their lives too.
Yeah, so they can wing it.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, our band is the same way. I mean, we don't do, you know, the full light show so much and all that, because we do try to lean more towards like wedding and corporate stuff, you know, and they don't really want that as much.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we don't do any set lists at all. Like the dude that runs our band just literally calls songs like usually before the last song is finished.
That's cool.
You know, and there's usually no more than like 2 seconds between a song, and it's like hundreds of songs. So like I hear you.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun, but that keeps you on your toes, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I think I like, there's things I like about both aspects of it. I like getting there and seeing a set list and really feeling like we're grooving and meshing together. But you know, nothing beats just plugging in to the amp, turn it up, and just calling songs and having fun.
The spontaneity of the crowd.
Yeah.
Give them what they want. Yeah. You gotta feed the monkey. Cool. Let's play another one, and then we'll talk some more.
Cool.
Why don't you come up with a groove this time?
All right. Let's do let's switch keys maybe a little bit. Do like a. Let's see what I got here. A lot of buttons, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Still live? Good.
I'll just do like a 6-4-1-5 in D, huh? So
Sure, do it. Dude, that's awesome. All right, so I just love seeing simple stuff like that. People just rip on arpeggios like that. That stuff's great. So that's a good segue into teaching.
Okay.
So let's talk teaching a little bit, because you teach what, 50 students a week?
Yeah, about that.
Like, it's crazy.
It's
insane.
It's a lot, yeah. But it's fun. It's cool.
So, like I told you before, I had a student ask me to start asking guests for like a key takeaway. That's one thing that you really feel opened the neck up for you, or theory-wise, or it can be anything that really, really helps.
Yeah.
And like when I hear you play, like especially over that, I mean, it seems very clear to me that you've spent a lot of time getting your arpeggios down and working all that stuff out. And that doesn't need to be your answer. I just noticed that. But like, what's one thing that you would say like really truly helped you, was like an aha moment, and what do you try to teach your students that are advanced enough to get there?
Okay, that's a good question. Now, so there's all those different techniques to get to know your neck. You have, I think the most common one among like intermediate to advanced players is the caged method, right?
Right,
So
sure.
we know what caged is. Caged is being able to play all your chords in the open formations, but across the fretboard. It's an acronym. So if you're C formation, C, A formation, C, and it goes like that.
Sure.
That's cool, right? And you can really learn how to cover a lot of ground. But if I had a blanket answer, it's definitely know every single note on your fretboard.
Just
know it.
straight up memorization, not using shapes?
F sharp, B, G flat, know all those notes. And And the reason why I tell that to people is, so jamming on guitar is a lot of fun. Guitar players have this advantage where once you know the scale, congratulations, you can start playing live. You know,
right.
It's a very popular hand shape, right? So it's cool that you can start playing right away, but it kind of cripples you a little bit because if you don't know what that is, you're going to immediately find yourself at a disadvantage with somebody who's, say, a piano player or any sort of woodwind player, because when you learn how to play piano, when you learn how to play a different instrument that doesn't have strings that are laid out in patterns,
you have to learn every note.
You have to learn every note. You have to learn every scale.
Different
you
figuring
have to learn
for
the intervals. Yeah, you have to know it. So sax players, when they do these awesome solos, they know every single note they're playing and they know where they're going, right?
Yeah.
Guitar players, a lot of times you hear us do the same thing over again. It's because, and I don't think it's a telltale sign of not knowing your notes, because I certainly do those things too. But in the example of just now, when we were moving through that progression, yeah, I'm thinking arpeggio shapes, I'm thinking cage, but I'm also thinking about the notes in my chord.
Sure.
I'm thinking that I need to play a B, D, and F sharp. I'm thinking I need to play G, B, and D.
Right.
All through those chords and making sure I land and target those notes. I feel like that separates the boys from the men, when it comes to lead playing. If you have somebody.
Can you hear the changes without the rhythm part behind it?
Yeah, it should be superimposed in your playing, right?
Right.
You should be able to hear it. That's a good point.
Unless you're trying to, sound more like that tonic. You know what I mean? Like I always tell students, first couple times through, I want you to oversell every change.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the next time through, play more, straight to the key center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And practice going back and forth.
Yep.
Can you, can you play the same style lead a little differently with different chord tones and try to, for me, if I were you and I were to answer that question, for me it would be triads.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
I went to GIT out in California, and I had a teacher there, Dan Gilbert,
Okay.
who's awesome, right? And he was a dude that to make it through any of his courses, no matter what the course was about, you know what I mean? You had to know every major, minor, diminished, augmented, triad, freaking everywhere on every string set. Right? And for me, that was the key that really opened the door.
Yeah, that's a cool point. I like genre specific playing too, like what you were just talking about. Unless you're going for just playing the tonal center for a minute. So we were playing the 6-4-1-5, but B would have been our tonal center. Right? So if you're just going for that, I consider that a very classic rock, classic guitar specific sounding lick, right?
Sure.
But then if you're moving to the arpeggios that's more of a, I would say, metal sounding type of playing. But then there's also things too, I could have chose to play it like kind of the licks we were doing earlier, like if I was going for a southern rock sound, I would have been. You know what I mean? So those type of sounds.
Yes.
Same progression.
Yes.
But it's genre specific. You know what I mean? So you're learning all those licks, and to me, it's just always about knowing. I had to know that was a minor third to major third sound in order to get it. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it'd be one thing, it'd be just learn the notes on your fretboard.
Yeah.
It's true. It's a guitar player thing, not just guitarists, because any bass too. But it's less so for violins and et cetera, But guitar players especially, we're so guilty of just getting stuck in our patterns and not learning much theory and just finding licks and getting stuck in licks and stuck in shapes. And when you get playing with real musicians that can really hear and really know how to voice lead and stuff, that's how you get your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened to you as much as it has to me.
Dude, and that's the way it was. I came across an analogy that I don't think I coined, but it would be like an artist, all right, who has a palette of colors but doesn't know a single name of the colors.
Right.
Right. So they're holding it and they're trying to collaborate with somebody who lives overseas.
Because that's the point, collaboration.
Yeah, they're trying to collaborate. They're just trying to make this giant artwork, and he's like, all right, I want to paint the sky, the color that the sky is, in Baltimore at 9 p.m. Well, they're going to have no idea what color that is. But if you knew it was, magenta, then you could just say it. So if you're collaborating with a piano player or somebody else, and you're like, well, I'm at the 9th fret on that, they're going to be like, what are you talking about, dude? So yeah, you just got to kind of know your instrument, really. I guess that's the short answer.
I got you. Well, let's play one more, and then we'll talk about your rig. I know everybody wants to know how you get your sound.
Okay.
Let's see, my reverb is going out. All right, let me find something here, and we'll get going. That's a lot of fun. All right, where the hell are we? Let's talk about your gear, dude.
Okay.
So you got a lot of awesome sounds. What delay do you have? That thing sounds brutal.
This thing is old, but I like it. It's the Boss Giga Delay, the DD20.
Awesome.
I was thinking, I keep toying around with the idea of getting a new one or a different one or updating it, but I keep going back to this. I like it. I can. So here's my thing with sounds. Like I years ago, I had a rack full of cool things. Everything was tweaked and dialed in, but I've gotten more and more just to depend on the amp and just I'm a plug right into the amp kind of guy. That's how I get my main tone.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have the tone that I want within a minute, it's the wrong amp, and I just get to a different one, you know?
You bring multiple amps to gigs?
No, I just mean for me.
Yeah,
you know
I know.
No, I bring one amp, but and so the same thing with my pedals. You know, if I start thinking, you know what, I need to push this thing a little bit more, or whatever, I'll get that. But so that's the delay. I run the delay through the effects loop. I have it set for several different things. You know, the main one I was using just now for the lead stuff, it's a delay set at about 500 milliseconds, which is a few trails.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it kind of gives it some space around it. And then if I do want to use one for a rhythm, which I don't tend to do too much of, because I think it muddies it up.
Sure.
I'll cut it in half and do 250. And then of course I have, the other thing that I have is the dialed in sound for fellas doing like any sort of dotted H.
Sure, yeah.
So that sound, and that's my main delay sound. So as far as those effects go, modulation goes, I have a Boss phase shifter, this PH3, which I use primarily with clean sounds. If I have someone who's playing, you know, like a nice ballad sound, they're doing like a lead over top of it, I might just, you know, just try to put some layers in it and not draw too much attention to my notes, you know.
Get the Prince going.
Yeah, exactly. That would be this one.
Yeah. I knew you'd have that sound.
And that's another Boss pedal. It's a chorus, the CET.
Yeah.
And all of these, what I like about them is they just have minimal amounts of knobs, and I can turn them within seconds. I can get the sound that I want, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your guitar, and then we'll get to the amp.
Okay. So it's a Schecter. I fell in love with this guitar. You know, there's a big long story behind it, which I don't need to get into. But
it's up to you, dude.
Anyway, I wound up with this one. I've used Les Pauls for years, and I still have them. I just kind of love the single cut thing, and I back in the early '90s, I had a bunch of guitars with the Floyd Rose tremolos on them, and they became such a pain to restring, which I'm sure you know. You know, you just gotta.
I'm aware.
If you got a gig on Friday, you got to restring it now. You know, it's a pain.
Yeah.
So I abandoned it, and I went straight to the to the stop tailpiece Les Pauls, and I still love them, but there's something about the sustain that I can get from this kind of floating tremolo that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So I toyed around with the idea of going back to one, and Schecter's a custom shop, so they'll build you stuff, but it's not very cheap to have them build things for you. And through kind of talking with their reps, they're all really cool people over there. They probably don't remember me. This is a while ago. But I talked with them.
We'll tag them.
And yeah, let's see what they have to say. And eventually they turned up this one. This is not custom built for me. They don't make it anymore. I think they kind of do guitars for a year, and then they kind of revisit their catalog. I don't know what it's called. I think it's the Solo 6. It says Blackjack SLS up there. I know it has a Duncan Jazz 3 and a full shred here. I can do coil tapping.
Oh, it does have that. Nice.
Yeah, so I can do all the bam, bam, what we're doing. And then I loved it so much that I searched far and wide, and I found another one exactly like it. And I keep this in standard tuning. I keep the other one tuned to E flat. And I take them both with me. And what I like about that, now, so every guitar player is different. Some guys will bring different guitars out with them to gigs because they like all the different sounds. I'm the opposite. I like to know that whatever guitar I'm plugging in back into this, I'm getting the same sound that I had a second ago, you know?
I agree wholeheartedly.
Oh, good.
Yeah, dude, wholeheartedly.
So I bought two of them. And that's it. And I finally settled on these.
Now, do you guys, now the other guitar is another Floyd Rose, right?
Yep, it's the same exact guitar.
So now, what do you do if you play a tune in drop D? So like, when I bring this for drop D because it's got the D tuner.
Yeah.
Which is money. I love that thing.
I bring a Les Paul with me too.
Oh, so you bring 3 guitars.
So it's a backup in case something goes terribly wrong. Like you break a string on this, I can't just grab the 1.5 step down.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you can, but so many songs like now there's a if you break a string while
sure.
You know, it's got open strings.
Yeah, you can't just muscle through it.
So I'll grab the Les Paul for that one, and then so I bring those 2 out. And there's another guitar that I had I was gonna bring, but it's by a company called Sunloft, which I really like. It's another single cut. They're a local company, kind of in Silver Spring.
Okay.
And, I have one at the house. It's a semi-hollow body, and it's a single cut like this, and it was all handmade. I mean, I'm pretty sure he cut down the tree. The guy's name's Chris Elmo, who makes them. And it's another awesome guitar too. So.
When we're done here, make sure you go on your phone and tag him in this. If he has a Facebook page.
I will. I should have at least either brought that or wore a hat that said his name on it. But,
well, we'll tag him. Anybody that's watching that wants to find him, we'll make sure they can get found. And the amp.
All right, so the amp is the Mace. Which one is it? The Recto 25.
This your main kind of gigging amp?
This is it, man. It's so reliable, you know. It's just I could walk in with this in one hand and the guitar in the other and be completely happy. It's 2 channels. Like I said, with an amp, I like to be able to get the sound that I want quickly. Right now, I have it set up where channel 1 is clean, so I didn't know what we were going to be doing today, so I have a clean sound. Alright, so then straight in line, I go from here, then I go through the wah pedal, tuner obviously, then I have this full tone OCD, and I use this for a bunch of different things. I can use it from anything from giving me some more edge. It's a pretty dark sounding pedal, but I like it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of meat to it.
Yeah, it's cool, and but it can also push the front of an amp too. So if I go into my lead channel, if I want more, I'll push it. And then my other overdrive sounds that you were hearing, some of those lead tones, this came from the Mesa throttle box, and I can get some cool sounds out of here too. You know, it's so I'll use this.
That thing screams, dude.
Isn't it cool? It sounds really good. And then there's another mode, which is more the lead mode. Which is a cool sound. And then of course channel 2 is also set up with another, like any more, you know, overly distorted tone. But I don't use it. If I use the throttle box, I don't use channel 2. But the throttle box is only if I can use it clean. So it's a lot less complicated than it sounds. It's actually very simple.
Yeah, gotcha. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on here, man. And so where can people find you?
All right, so my website is BaltimoreGuitarLessons.com. You can check that out. I have a Facebook page. My name is Scott Spivey. If you just search for that, you'll find my Facebook page. Send me a friend request. I haven't reached my limit yet, so I can approve it. And that's it. I post most of my shows on a daily basis through my personal Facebook page.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on here, man. You're a great guitar player, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, always. Yeah, we'll do this again, and let's do one more on our way out. And just because you're so good at playing fast, let's do a fast one.
Okay. All right.
Your dealer's choice, my friend.
All right.
You pick the key.
So.